Ian, can you tell us about Travel Massive? Who is, what is, how can we engage with Travel Massive?
Sure. So Travel Massive is a worldwide community for people who work in the tourism industry and also people who are interested, say, in getting into the tourism industry. The tourism industry is, so what is that? It's very big, right? It's anyone you can think of, like hospitality or hotels or tour operators, content creators, travel media, travel startups, travel technology. So anything to do with the distribution of travel. And travel experiences. That's sort of what Travel Massive is. So it's a huge ecosystem of like everyone, all the different pieces of the tourism industry, and it's a network. So it's based on in-person events at chapters around the world. We have about 100 chapters, including like New York, London, Saigon, Sydney, here in Bangkok, where we invite members to come along and meet in person. And then there's also an online website for Travel Massive where you can have a profile, sort of like a LinkedIn of the tourism industry, and then things like job board, company directory, online discussions that happen. So it's really sort of, to get back to like what is Travel Massive, it's just a giant community of anyone that is interested in the future of travel and wants to meet other people and share ideas and to help make travel better.
And how is Travel Massive funded? So is it a subscription-based membership? Like I've seen Travel Massive events in Bangkok. Incredible, some of the events that you've staged. How do you make money and how do you sustain this globally? So if I attend a Travel Massive event, do I have to pay? Do I have to become a member? Is there a website? What's the deal?
Yeah, so the revenue model is it's a free website, because I wanted to make Travel Massive a open network for anyone in tourism, and you can think that I want to have the barrier to entry very low for someone to become a member, and we have members all around the world. So to charge people money to be a member of Travel Massive, we might be able to do that in like richer countries around the world, but of course, like you can't do that in other places in the world that are emerging markets. So I wanted to make it free for everyone to be a part of. And we make our money through things like sponsorships, where we do some consulting work. We have advertising on our website, and members, if they want to, can get a premium membership for a small fee, which allows them to do things like add their company page to Travel Massive and do a few other little things like that. So.
And you have your network events that are immensely successful and have come on the scene. I really started seeing Travel Massive having events in Bangkok after COVID. I hadn't seen you before, so maybe I had been on another planet. Are you doing your own events where it's like a conference and educational, or is it just networking and connecting the dots?
Yeah, so it really depends on each city. We've hosted over 2,500 networking events around the world in the past 10 years. So events are really, so the way it works is that we have volunteer chapter leaders in these cities. So like we have Rick Gazarian and Anne here in Bangkok. And the format of the events is really up to the chapter leaders, what they want to do. So we could just have networking events, but in some cities, for example, in London and Singapore recently, we did more of a panel with, say, for example, a technology company called Stripe, and that's about not just networking, but like learning about an aspect of the travel industry. So it might be about like new trends in payments and subscriptions. So, but that, again, the format of the events is can be different based on what city you might be in. A good example might be in Berlin. In a couple of weeks' time, they're doing a video workshop on how to monetize your YouTube channel, right? But then, say, you might go to a Dublin Travel Massive, which is just more of a networking event and for people to hang out and have a pint of Guinness and talk. So it depends on the city and who's running it, and ultimately what our community wants. So if our community just wants to do networking, they can do that. If our community wants to do more learning, they can also do that. So there's no rules to a Travel Massive, the format of a Travel Massive event, other than it has to be free to attend, open to the travel industry, and for people to come and share their ideas.
And are media welcome as well?
Oh, we love media because the whole point of Travel Massive is to share ideas in travel and tourism. So, I mean, what better way to share ideas than through the media?
And who's the mastermind behind Travel Massive?
Right. Well, I mean, I think you're looking at the mastermind, but
So you came up with the idea, and was it a group or just you singularly that said, the world needs Travel Massive?
so I mean, as much as I'd like to take credit for Travel Massive, I'm only really a small part of it. Travel Massive is really made up by an incredible community of people who have all contributed. So there would be hundreds of contributors who have helped build Travel Massive over the years. And, I guess I stumbled upon the idea by accident. The backstory for Travel Massive is I worked in tech. I built a small travel startup in, I think, 2009. And I sold that to a company called World Nomads, which, if you're familiar with it, it's a travel insurance company. And I moved to World Nomads to help build their online community. And I moved to Sydney. And I didn't know anyone in travel. And I was staying at a hostel in Sydney, and so I used Twitter to organise what was called a tweet up, and 5 people turned up to our first event, and it was like a travel blogger. There was myself, someone was working for like a hotel travel tech company, and we just had a great time talking to each other about what we did. And we met a month later, and everyone brought a friend, so there were 10 people, and then quite soon it was like quite a big event in Sydney, and I just used it sort of for my own needs to just meet people in travel. But there was sort of an interesting accident that happened, which was that there were 2 friends of mine who were coming to our events from London and Toronto, and eventually they went back home and they asked me if they could do the same event and give it the same name. And back then we were called Travel Tribe. And it was just a name I thought of, and it sounded cool, but we didn't know that someone had the trademark to it. So, after a few years of these sort of Travel Tribe events, we had to change the name, and we rebranded as Travel Massive. But it was a complete accident, and the fact that it worked in Sydney, I didn't know that it would work in Toronto or London or New York, and so it just sort of grew organically. So I've been I might say I'm the benevolent dictator of Travel Massive, but I am. It's really a huge group effort from a lot of people around the world who all share the same vision of connecting people in travel, and ultimately it's about making travel better, because there's so many innovations that are going on in the tourism industry. How do we bring all those players together to collaborate? And so out of Travel Massive events around the world, I've met so many people who have got jobs from Travel Massive, have even met each other as co-founders of businesses that have gone on to become huge tour companies and things like that. So it's sort of it's about getting those people in the room and creating a spark.
What's next in the next 5 years for Travel Massive? Do you have a vision of where you want to go and build upon this success, or have you said, I've done it, that's it, we're good where we are?
Well, I mean, I think every time I think I've done it, there's always more to do. But I mean, you mentioned before that you hadn't heard of Travel Massive until after COVID, but Travel Massive in Bangkok existed since I think 2015, and so it goes to show just how big the tourism industry is, and if only, say, 2% of the travel industry knows about Travel Massive, then that's a huge opportunity for the other 98% to learn about us. But I think we want to grow our platform. We want to provide more value to our members. And I think we're also, maybe thinking about things like building out a bigger travel conference. There's lots of, great companies that I meet in the travel industry and through our network that I wish they had a stage to be able to share their story. And I think, Travel Massive could create that stage. So that's sort of where we're planning to go.
And for us to find out more and to become a member with the platform, is there a website address that we can visit?
Yeah, so there's only a website, travelmassive.com. You can go there. It's super easy to sign up. You can read more about us. You can use the website without even signing up, so you can just explore it. But if you want to like join an event or create a profile, obviously you need to become a member.
I am logging on tonight. Ian, thanks so much for joining us at the Traveller's World, part of the Extraordinary Travel Festival. Keep doing the great things you're doing. I'm in awe of what you've managed to achieve and create. I'll be at your next event in Bangkok.
Thanks, David. Great to be here.
Cut.